So I started the apron dress by simply stitching up the gores and then stitching the gores to the main pieces. And that's really all that's needed. It's not that complicated. They're all the stitches you've already done. It is of course completely open at top because there are no sleeves on the apron dress. It slides right off my body because the full gore, or the gore, is designed to go right at the fullest part of the bust, and we want it to come in a little bit more. So now we're going to adjust it in at the sides. And what I'm showing here is how I kind of pull in the sides, and I'm estimating just off of my own personal knowledge, an inch. Now, obviously, the easiest way to do this is to have somebody help you, but lacking that, you can, wing it on camera in front of everybody on YouTube. So that's what I have chosen to done here. Once you do that, you stitch up the sides, and here I am demonstrating that I only pulled in about an inch on each side, an inch from the finished seam, or the existing seam, not the finished one. And then I'm going to finish it up and go into how to make the straps. So for the straps, so the next bit is making the strap and the facing for the neck. Now to turn the strap, you take about from the mid back to where you're going to want it to fall on you. Mine, I go very far into my back because I have a shoulder slope. My measurement was about 22 inches. I want to measure those long because I'm going to ultimately end up making a couple of little loopies to pull the straps through. And that's so that I can pin the straps without pinning my actual apron dress. Straps are a lot easier to replace than the rest of the fabric. So once I get my measurements cut out, I want my strap to be about 5 inches wide because I'm going to loop it, I'm going to double it in half, give it a 1/2 inch seam allowance. That's going to give me a 2 inch wide, yes, strap. Then you tear it on the straight grain, and there's your strap. When determining how long to cut your upper band, I put a pin in my fabric first. That's going to give me a start and stop point for my measurements. And then just measure all the way around the top. Now remember, you pulled everything in slightly from your full bust, and this is kind of the best way to get an accurate measurement because the fabric kind of fluctuates. It's got a little more give than your actual bust line. Mine ends up being about 41 inches. I cut mine 2 inches longer because there's slope. You see, I mean, even that little bit of diagonal doesn't seem like much, but you have to lap the band and back. You can't just stitch it together. Then you tear out the band that you need and repeat all these tears or cuts on some organza or interfacing if you prefer, just so you have a little stability for all. This is like the weight bearing part of the garment, so it has to be really stable. I'm not going to actually show you how to create the straps. Straps are fairly easy. There are, I'm sure, a million tutorials online on how to do it. I am going to show you how I assemble a band since it does lap and back. Okay. Now after I've made my band, I'm going to locate the spot that I've marked as center back on my apron dress because I want the band to sit at the back. Put down the first strap, and you'll see how I fold in my band where it starts. That's going to end up being the outer edge of the band. So I folded it in about a 1/2 inch, and from there the pinning begins. And all the pinning that goes with it. I'm not going to make you watch that though. As I work my way around to the front of the apron dress, I'm going to get to that front side seam, goes slightly to the outer side of my bust line. And that's where I'm going to install those 2 little loopies that I made, one on either side, so that I can loop my straps up and over and pull them up. Again, much easier to replace the straps than any other part of this dress. So having determined that, I go ahead and keep pinning, work my way around the back, get the other strap pinned into place, and it laps in back. And I'm fine leaving it lapped. And then of course, the sewing begins. Once everything is pinned down, you go ahead and start the sewing. Flip your band, press everything nice and flat and smooth, pin it again. Now, you may have noticed I like outward facing bands, so my band faces outward, but you can put yours however you like. And this becomes a very slow stitch indeed. But once you're all done, you simply locate your lapped back, and there it is. You stitch it up in the back like dead center. It's nice and neatly lapped. And that's how you make your apron dress. There's my little loopies. And ultimately, this is what it looks like when it's on. It's nice and snug across the bust, but nice and loose underneath. It needs the hemming, obviously, because I didn't want to do that on camera. There's my 2 loopies with my straps rolled through, pinned in place by my turtle brooches. And there's your apron dress.